Chris, thank you so much for joining today. This is really exciting. I'm very excited. Your company comes out with some very interesting products over the years, but this one I think is very, very timely, and it's an area where we have a lot of calls, but we really don't have too many products that can be safely used and that are very, very effective and proven clinically. So with that, I just want to let you talk about it. But what I'm excited about is it's not just used for one narrow area. This is a product that can be used for people who are having trouble with recall, memory recall, for cognition, for focusing, and it even has something in there when we're all stressed now with what's going on, but also when you start having memory problems, you start getting more stressed. And when you're more stressed, you have more memory problems. So this is really exciting. And so I'll just leave it to you. I'll be jumping in with questions, but if you could just go over a little of the information for us.
Sure. Thanks for having me, Gary. I'm Chris Alley from Integrative Therapeutics, medical sales manager with the company for 6+ years. And I appreciate Johnson Compounding. Just wanted to introduce this new product, especially during these tough times, that if we can help out patients that are struggling with memory issues, brain fog, attention and focus, and mood, all in one nice package called Neurologix, which I have right here. You can kind of take care of a lot of different issues all at once. So the key with this specific product, it's classified as a nootropic, which is going to protect the brain tissue and neuron membranes and from oxidative stress. So stress causes a lot of these different issues, but things like working memory will be improved, which is another term for multitasking. So the big ingredients that are in this product, there are 4 ingredients. 3 of them are primary ingredients, and they're new, they're exciting. The research that we'll go over is super exciting as well. They're also non-stimulating, so for a patient that has high blood pressure, or you don't want them taking anything that's going to kind of keep them awake at night, this product will allow them to focus without having that issue of increasing blood pressure or affecting sleep. This product can actually help sleep, but also help with focus and attention as well. So some of the key ingredients we'll focus on. The first will be, if you could go to the next slide, Gary.
There you go.
This is more or less what the bottle looks like. So this is the back of what I just showed you. It's 4 capsules per day. We like to have patients take 2 at a time, but you can take 4 at a time. We do recommend 2 twice per day, and they're at clinical levels. So the clinical studies are equal to 4 capsules a day. So just so the patients are aware of how to take it, this is the correct way to take it. And I'll get into detail on these ingredients as we go along. The next slide should have Numentics. So Numentics is really exciting. 900 milligrams, the clinically studied dose. Key with Numentics is that it's 6 times higher. It's a spearmint extract for one. A lot of patients will recognize spearmint as something that's in gum, right? Spearmint gum, but this is not spearmint gum. It's a lot more concentrated. They use a non-heat extraction process, an aqueous extraction process that allows the rosmarinic acid to be higher. This allows for a higher phenolic compounds, which means it's more neuroprotective, and the neuroprotective effect allows our brains to thrive. It allows us working memory improvements, so multitasking, something we all are doing right now during these tough times. We're working from home, we're trying to handle our kids, we're doing all these different things from home, and our attention may kind of wander. This might be a great way to refocus and get refocused.
And Chris, if I could
So we'll
just
go
jump
through some of the.
if I could just
Sure.
jump in for a sec, a lot of
Mhm.
people don't realize that you could have the right ingredients like spearmint in a product, but
Mhm.
spearmint and a lot of other herbs, if they're not extracted properly, you don't get the concentration of the active constituents. And one thing I just want people to know, Integrative Therapeutics is a science-based company. So they don't just look at literature, oh, spearmint is good for memory and put it in. They
Mhm.
extract it properly, they get the right raw materials, but then they test their products clinically to make sure they do work the way they're supposed to. And I'm sorry for interrupting, but I wanted to throw that in.
Yep. No, that's a key point, Gary. We are a FDA compliant facility, which means we have to go above and beyond what other supplement companies do. So clinically studied ingredients are a big key to all of our products. So we need that research, and then we need the key raw materials like spearmint, the Numentic, specifically spearmint extract, to um, to put into these products to get the results. When we promise results, we need the right ingredients to get those results.
Yeah.
Numentix, just wanted to point out, this specific ingredient has been nominated for 2020 Ingredient of the Year for cognitive function by Nutra Ingredients USA. So the results that people are getting with Numentix, which is one of the ingredients that is in this formula, are fantastic for, like I mentioned, working memory, aka multitasking, and also with sustained attention, so long-term attention focus. Some of the studies that are in here, I think on the next slide, it goes a little deeper into the studies. So we wanted to focus on these studies with Numentix. So um, a 15% improvement, when you're looking at the top study, it's with older patients, both men and women, and it's age-associated memory impairment study. So there's that multitasking effect that they were looking for improvements on. The good thing about Numentix is it does seem to have a fast acting effect, so you don't have to wait around for this product to work. It works fairly quickly. With clinical studies, they like to see longer results, so that's why you'll often see studies that are 90 days long. They want to make sure that it not only works in the short term but in the long term. So that 15% improvement is a great improvement. It's also, as we get older, every decade we decrease cognitive function about 10%. So this could be for a patient that's just looking to offset that cognitive function decrease over time. This could be a great product for that person. The bottom study shows an 11% improvement, and this is more with middle-aged patients, healthy men and women, in a randomized double-blind placebo-controlled study. 11% improvements on sustained focus. So those patients that are, very active, working all the time. I myself have 2 children at home, so we're working with them on homeschooling and doing our jobs as well. So that middle-aged group where you see an 11% improvement, that's great to see as well. So
And
lots of different patients that you could focus on.
yeah, and
Do you have a question?
the interesting thing, if you think about it, a 15% improvement in working memory, if it it's a lot, it doesn't look like a lot, but if you're not struggling and you can recall up to 15% more instantly, and also focusing 11% more, you're going to get a lot more work done in a shorter period of time. But that also, it sort of snowballs in a good way if during the day your memory is better, your working memory and your focus is better, you're going to be less stressed. And if you're less stressed, it's easier to have better cognition. And so this really isn't just about either memory or recall. It really then goes into stress and anxiety. It's not, you're not fueling that as much, and that'll also help with sleep at night if you're less stressed during the day. So it really is fantastic.
Yeah, there's a lot of studies with pneumatics that are ongoing as well with professionals. They're doing studies with doctors who have long days, and the equalizer with fatigue, if you have a excellent working memory already, the equalizer is fatigue. So stress and fatigue tend to offset someone that has a great working memory to begin with, like say a doctor or a musician. They've done studies with musicians, people that can do multiple things at the same time. And they've done studies, and the studies all show that fatigue has its effect even on those people that have great working memories. But to offset it with something like this might allow them to get through those periods where they would struggle and have a stressed out mind and not function at optimal levels.
Yeah.
So you're looking at this product multiple ways.
Yeah. So I think I'm jumping ahead, but while I think of it, because I haven't started using the product yet, this isn't just for senior citizens that are starting to get the age-related dementia or Alzheimer's. This is really, it looks like it's something for people who are working, for parents who are being pulled in 10 different directions. What about for the high school and the college kids who are sitting in front of a computer taking their classes 8 hours a day as opposed to being at school, and they find their minds drifting or concentration is going down? Could this be helpful for those people too who aren't in the age-related memory loss time?
Yeah, the great thing about this product and why it's not just the spearmint, there's other things in there. The next ingredient that's in the product, if you move forward, is citicoline, which you're well aware of some of the benefits of citicoline. But during our recent discussion, we talked about the effect that it has on. They have a clinical study with children ages 13 to 18. So students could greatly benefit from this product based on some of the clinical research with citicoline. So in the next slide, you'll see the studies. So the way citicoline works is it actually has an effect on increasing ATP in the focus area of the brain. So ATP helps create energy in the focus portions of the brain, and that's how it structurally works. And that's kind of the behind the scenes how that ingredient works well, and it also works quite quickly as well. These studies were 28-day studies. Again, on the top, the study focuses more on older patients, and what it's looking at is less omission. So in a lot of these clinical studies, you'll see the arrow pointing up, so improvements. In the top study, it shows the arrow pointing down, which is actually a good thing because it's a decrease in mistakes that were made.
All
so
right.
This would be, for patients that are having issues with finding their keys, recalling names, things like that. This could be a helpful improvement. But the key down below is the one I just mentioned on adolescents. So the improved motor speed of 345% using 500 milligrams of citicoline, the cognition form, which is in our product, which is the clinically studied form, and also visual attention, 40% improvements. So when you're talking about homeschooling and you're talking about having that attention and focus that you need on certain tasks, this could be a great way to help teenagers that may be struggling with that transition over to the homeschool, or when they go back to school, maybe it'll help them focus a little bit better. So there's definitely, in college students with the heavy workload, a lot of long nights of studying, in front of their computer can get weary. They can get weary, and as we mentioned, this product with spearmint and cognition can kind of tie together a lot of those things, so that they can focus and not get weary at the same time.
Great.
Yep. There's one other key ingredient that's in this product. As I mentioned before, there's 4 ingredients. Vitamin B6 is also in there as a cofactor, but the third key ingredient that we wanted to talk about today is an ingredient some of you may be aware of, and I know, Gary, you're aware of it. It's saffron. And when I mentioned saffron, what did you first come to mind, Gary? What came to
Cooking,
mind?
it being used in food, and
Yep.
that is very expensive.
Yeah, that's one thing I've heard a lot about is, saffron. I use that regularly in culinary, and also, wow, is that products that's actually the most expensive spice. But you'll know why we added it to the ingredients as I talk about the features of the product and the benefits. So why is this product in there? It's a great antioxidant for one, along with the other ingredients that are in here. They're all very they protect brain tissue and neuron membranes from oxidative stress and inflammation. So that's going to allow our brains to work better and less stress as well. But saffron's actually been shown to help with mood and depression. So it's been studied in multiple ways in their recent studies, so they have a lot of validity with recent research. The first kind of point that I want to talk about with saffron is that it's been studied in comparison to antidepressants. So it's performed equal to antidepressants in clinical studies. It can also be used safely as an add-on therapy, so along with antidepressants. It's been studied that way, and it's been shown to be very safe. And also as a monotherapy in a study against placebo, so it's outperformed placebo. So that's, more or less, it's going to have a superior outcome to placebo. It's going to have the equivalent to antidepressants, and it can be used along with medications.
That is great.
But yeah, the next slide should show those studies. So these are the studies that I just mentioned, and these are important to be able to see for patients that have thought about using SSRIs, and or patients that are on SSRIs and may not like the side effects. This will be a great, a slide to pay attention to. The saffron has been studied with 40 subjects in the top study. And Paxil is the Prozac. I'm sorry, Prozac head-to-head is what was researched in the top clinical study. And it was actually a 6-week study with 40 subjects, and it's basically shown that it has equal effect as Prozac in these studies. So it minus the side effects, being a safe product, getting the same results, I think it's a win-win.
Yeah, and just have to caution people that you don't want to start taking something like this and stop your medication. You never stop your medication without working with the doctor. But as Chris said, a lot of the drugs do have side effects, and a lot of the side effects are dose related. So this could be something that could be added into your therapy. As you're doing better, you could discuss with the doctor about tapering down on the meds. And we see this happen all the time, and the doctors are happy and the patients are doing much better.
Yeah, and another antidepressant that people are, probably are pretty aware of would be Celexa, and that's the bottom study. and once again, there's no significant difference between the outcomes with Saffron, a natural spice, and Celexa, head-to-head over 6 weeks. So this is with anxiety as well as depression. And like Gary said, you always want to work with a doctor when you're dealing with SSRIs. You want to make sure that you're doing the safest route. And this is just an option, like we mentioned. You can try it along with an SSRI. Of course, talking to a doctor about it. You can use it by itself as an option, and it's in this formula, which is great. We wouldn't put it in this formula if it wasn't one of the safer options that are out there. And the new unique clinical research shows that it's a safe alternative.
Great.
Yep. And these products all kind of tie together. One thing to be aware of with regard to the product is that it's 2 capsules twice a day, like it mentions above. If you really want to feel any product, you should take it for at least 30 days, but we usually say 90 days is the ultimate test, especially with this product because it's clinically studied at 90 days. As far as interactions go, just be aware that saffron, one of the ingredients in this product, has been shown at high levels, a lot higher than what's in this product, to contraindicate with anticoagulants. So patients that are on blood thinning medicines, you want to definitely consult a doctor, and a lot of times doctors are going to concentrate more on that maybe cardiovascular issue that the patient's dealing with.
Yeah.
And first and foremost, in considering all options if you're having anxiety or memory issues would be a secondary issue.
Good point.
But,
now I see
for others, this is a great.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to jump in. There was a delay. I see that you put it out in 2 different size packages. So, like, the studies were done for 90 days, and most products, when you're helping the body balance, you don't get the best result within a couple days. It's usually ramping up. You start seeing changes, and as time goes on, it gets better and better. With a 7-day supply, do the studies show that many people do start noticing a change even within 7 days?
Like I mentioned earlier, the clinical studies are there to just show results over a long period, consistent results over a long period. But actual, in life experiences with this product have shown a quick result, that patients seem to respond to this fairly quickly. Especially the experiment shows a quick turnaround, and the cognition citicoline as well. In saffron, most things with mood take a little bit, 7 to 10 days and longer. But as a whole, you'll get a good feel for this product in a quick amount of time. We just recommend, based on clinical studies, that the 30-day supply would be ultimately the best option. But the 7 days out there for a reason. This is the only product in our portfolio that we have a 7-day supply, because we feel so confident that patients will feel a quick difference with the product.
So that really says something about what you're seeing with the product, that you came out with it that way. That is great. Now, does the product need to be taken with food or without food, or can it be taken at any time?
It can be taken at any time. There's not any contraindications taking it without food or with food, but usually in the morning is a good time to take it, and then later in the day, twice per day. But there aren't any specifics to taking it with or without food. You should feel fairly safe in that.
Well, that's great, because that makes it a lot easier for people. You don't have to concentrate, when you're taking it, just morning and evening to get the dose in. Well, Chris, this is great. We're going to be getting this in within the next week, which is, I can hardly wait for it to come in. I know that A bunch of us at the store, at the Wellness Center, are going to start taking it, and that should make our work days much, much better. And probably some of the people at home will want it that are cooped up in the house. Also, I just want to put out there that Johnson's has been dealing with Chris and with Integrative Therapeutics for well, Chris, you've been there for a long time, but
Yeah.
Integrative for a couple of decades, and we believe in their products, and we're we've had great success with them. And if anyone does try this and they're not happy, or they feel that it isn't doing anything, we will buy the product back from them. We guarantee it, and I know Integrative Therapeutics stands behind every single product they make, which is wonderful. So I want to thank you so much for sharing this new product, an exciting product. I think it's going to be a real hit, should hit a home run right out of the starting blocks, because it can help so many people. And if anyone has any questions, feel free to either email me, Gary at naturalcompounder.com, or give us a call at the Wellness Center, 781-893-3870. And Chris, thank you so much for your time, and I hope you and the family are well during this crazy time.
Thank you, Gary.
All right,
Yeah.
we will talk soon. Thank you.
Take care. Thanks, Gary. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.